I told you right before we recorded that I'd heard this, rumor that you said was somewhat, accurate, a little bit, which was that I'd heard that after that album, when you were going to do your next album, you were looking for beats from producer, whatever, people send me beats, and that Hi-Tek reached out when we doing something, and you're like, well, let's hear some beats from you. And he was like, how about the whole last album we just did? Right. And you said, well, it's not totally accurate, but somewhat accurate.
Right. Yeah, I'm impressed that you know that story, because that's like deep underground rap industry shit.
You see what it is. It's got prop from Kweli. Fuck you, man.
But yeah, shout out to Hi-Tek, definitely. My podcast that I do with Up Rocks People's Party is with Jared Meyer. Jared Meyer was the founder of Ruckus. He's also the founder of Up Rocks. And it's all Jared's fault.
Okay.
Story.
Okay.
Jared and Brian Brader, they started Ruckus, and shout out to them for starting Ruckus, and it was a beautiful situation for everybody. Hi-Tek to this day always talks about how he misses those Ruckus days. But when I came out as an artist, when Reflection Eternal dropped, I began to have feature opportunities and touring opportunities. And so I stayed on the road. And since that time, I've been on the road until the pandemic, 200 days a year. Wow. So Hi-Tek didn't want to go on the road. As a producer, there were no mobile studios, no Pro Tools back then. As a producer, a hip hop producer, you need to be with your crates. He's sampling, he needs to be with his drum machines, his keyboards. And so going on the road just wasn't appealing to him, to sort of be on the road playing the role of Talib Kweli's DJ. Because that's essentially what he became with me, opening for like Badu. And so he got a solo deal from Ruckus instead of going on the road to work on a producer album. Yassine Bey, I did Black Star with, he had a solo deal with MCA at that point.
Yeah.
And so I was committed to these groups. I wasn't focused on trying to be a solo artist. But when my partners had solo deals, I was like, well, I might as well get one too.
Sure.
And so I carved out, with me and Jared, carved out a thing where Hi-Tek was going to get paid to do at least 5 beats on my new solo album. But the problem is that me and Hi-Tek had a disconnect over our disagreement about the touring. And it wasn't just touring, we had disagreements over who should manage us, other things, but it was just a lot going on. And I was talking to the label and not talking to Hi-Tek. Hi-Tek was talking to the label, not talking to me. And as brothers and as creative partners, we should have been talking to each other. And that's the lesson there. Never let the label people, and I don't think that I know that Jared and Brian didn't have any bad intentions, but the way in which they were conveying the information created a rift with me and Hi-Tek. And so I believe that Hi-Tek I was telling Jared, well, look, let's make sure that Hi-Tek gets on this album. Tell him to send me some beats on some, so I can write to the beats. I think it got conveyed to Hi-Tek. He needs to approve these beats.
Right.
Which is, it's a confusing, there's a lot of little confusion.
And you can see how hearing that can make someone go like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he didn't hear it from me. He's hearing it from the label guy.
Yeah.
And I wasn't thinking about, honestly, at all what I should be doing to make sure Hi-Tek is good, because in my mind, by carving out 5 beats for him in the deal and him potentially getting paid for this, I was already looking out for him. But in retrospect, as a grown man and not like a kid who just started in his business, I know that the priority should have been the communication, not me trying to feel like I'm throwing him a bone.
Right.
Right. And so we didn't speak for a couple of years. He called me. I was in the movies a couple of years after that. And I was like, when I finish this movie, I'm going to call you back. And we spoke, and we never actually we've never talked about this.
Really?
Yeah. We've never said, what was that bullshit? What was that? We never talked about it. We just went on with our friendship.